Welcome to The Explainer. We're going to talk about something that feels like it's everywhere these days: polarization. It's this force that's driving us apart, and we're going to look at how it might be cracking the very foundations of democracy itself.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, what is polarization really? Then, how does it actually start to break down our democratic systems? We'll dig into who's making a profit from all this division and what the ultimate consequence of all this could be. And finally, we'll talk about a few simple things we can do to push back, and we'll wrap up with one final thought on democracy.
Okay, so Section 1. What are we actually talking about when we say polarization? Well, it usually kicks off with a really simple, but honestly, a really dangerous way of thinking.
It's this idea, right? You're either with me or you're my enemy. This is that classic us versus them mentality. And what it does is it takes a totally normal disagreement, like about a policy, and it just blows it up into this huge battle of identities. It becomes this really deep, really emotional split.
So, to put a finer point on it, this is not just about having different ideas. Polarization is what happens when those ideas get all tangled up with who we are, with our very identity. Suddenly, the other side isn't just someone you disagree with. No, they become a threat. They become the enemy. And, this us versus them thing, it doesn't just stay in our heads. It actually starts to attack the real-world foundations that are supposed to hold up a healthy democracy. Think of a healthy democracy like a building standing on 4 huge pillars. You've got the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, and the media. Well, polarization is kind of like a stress fracture that starts to run through each of those pillars, and it threatens to bring the whole thing crashing down. Let's start with the legislature. Its whole job is to debate and discuss, right? But when things get super polarized, what do you get? Shouting matches, walkouts, discussion just goes out the window. And that means huge, important laws can get shoved through without any real debate, simply because the trust between the two sides is completely gone. The whole process of governing just grinds to a halt. Okay, next up, the executive. This is the branch that's supposed to just neutrally run things. But in this kind of world, every single action the government takes is seen through a suspicious lens. Public trust just completely erodes. People stop seeing the administration as working for the whole country and start believing it's only working for its side. Now, the judiciary. And this is so important. It's all about perception. Even if the courts are trying their best to be impartial. In a polarized world, every single decision they make is seen as political. And think about it. The second people stop believing that the referee is fair, well, the whole game just falls apart, doesn't it? And that brings us to that 4th pillar, the media. Look, in an economy that's all about chasing ratings and clicks, what sells? Outrage. The whole business model is built to reward anger, emotion, and identity. It turns what should be news debates into something more like gladiator fights. And our social media feeds? They just become battlefields where we go to get our own beliefs confirmed. So, okay, we see how the media and politicians can be part of this whole mess. But that raises a pretty big question, right? Is all this division just happening by accident, or is there something driving it? Is there like a polarization profit machine at work here? So, who's actually fueling all this division? Who's turning the dials on this machine? Well, the answer isn't as simple as just pointing the finger at one group. It's really more of a cycle, a feedback loop. You've got politicians using that divisive language to get their supporters fired up. Then the media outlets, they amplify all that conflict because, hey, outrage gets clicks and ratings. Then you've got the social media algorithms, which are programmed to notice that angry, emotional stuff keeps us glued to our screens. So what do? They show us more of it. And then there's us. We complete the loop every time we share and react, basically feeding the machine exactly what it wants. But why? What's the real motivation here? What's the fuel that keeps this whole machine running nonstop? It's simple, really, because it's profitable. At the end of the day, division makes money. It generates votes, it generates TV ratings, it generates online engagement. It has literally become a business model. And that business model is built on keeping us angry and keeping us apart. So, if this whole profit machine just keeps running, unchecked, what's the end game? Where does this road actually lead? Well, it's pretty much a downward spiral. Real productive debate, gone. The very idea of truth becomes subjective. My truth versus your truth. Trust in all our institutions just evaporates. And here's the kicker. While we're all busy fighting with each other, the real problems, the big systemic ones that affect every single one of us, they get totally ignored. But out of all of these really bad outcomes, there's one that is by far the most dangerous, the most corrosive to democracy. And what is it? People just stop caring. The ultimate threat is apathy. We get so worn out, so exhausted by all the constant fighting that we just check out. We disengage. And you know what happens when the public disengages? That is exactly when power gets concentrated into the hands of just a few people. Okay, I know, that all sounds pretty bleak. But here's the good news. The power to turn the ship around, it doesn't start in some fancy government building. It actually starts with us, with small, everyday things that every single one of us can do. So what can we actually do? Let's talk about 4 simple steps. Number 1, verify before you forward. Seriously, just take a second to check if something's true before you hit share. Number 2, diversify your news. Follow 2 or 3 different sources, not just the ones that tell you what you want to hear. Break out of that echo chamber. 3, argue to understand, not just to win. And finally, number 4, it is absolutely okay to hold strong opinions, but it is not okay to hold hate.
All right, so as we wrap this up, what's the one big idea to walk away with? Let's leave it with a really crucial thought about what democracy actually is. We really have to remember this. Democracy is not some thing that the government just gives to us. It's a relationship. It's a relationship between the people and those in power. And just like any other relationship, it takes constant work. It needs us to show up, to participate, to communicate if we want to keep it healthy.
Because here's the bottom line, if we're all divided, power always wins. A public that's fighting itself can't hold power accountable. It's just that simple. So maybe the most revolutionary thing you can do is to just refuse to be divided. Stay curious, stay kind, and above all, stay democratic.